University of Political Science. The Encyclopedia of Political Science. The nature and functioning of the sovereign state. System. States are the main actors of international relations and basic units of the international system. Traditionally, the emphasis was on the study of the politics and relations among these states. But after the innovation of behavioral approaches in the post-Second World War period, emphasis was given to other non-state actors and their role in international relations. Despite the emergence of non-state actors and performers, states still retained a leading and dominant, although not exclusive or uniform, role. Reasons for their prominent role are: first, non-state actors lack the basic characteristics of states: their sovereignty and territoriality. Second, they are behaviorally less important. Third, their analysis has not been developed as adequately as that of states. Nonetheless, both state and non-state actors are significant for the study of contemporary international relations, although former needs considerable attention owing to its dominant role. Nature and functioning of the sovereign state system. The sovereign state system is also known as the Western state system, the nation-state system, and the national state system. The state system, in the words of Palmer and Perkins, is the pattern of political life in which people are separately organized into sovereign states that interact with one another in varying degrees and in varying ways. The nation-state system constitutes the very basis of international relations. State and nation. The terms state and nation have different meanings, yet they are often used interchangeably. A state comes into existence when a people is residing in a definite territory under its own sovereign government. According to this definition, a state is made of four elements: a people, a territory, a government, and the attribute of sovereignty. State as monopoly. The sovereign nation-state has the monopoly of organization at its highest level, and the monopoly of force is also largely enjoyed by the state. It determines the degree of freedom or constraint applicable to its population. It has the monopoly of deciding the ultimate issues of international peace and war. Monopoly in these spheres is due to the exclusive possession of sovereignty by the state, which no other association or actor possesses. State as functional unit. Considering itself as a functional unit within the international system, each nation-state is a solitary, self-contained, and self-justifying entity. It draws its motivations for action from within itself, feels itself obligated to no other state, is prepared to devote its own resources to satisfaction of its needs, and is ready to enjoy the rewards or suffer the consequences of its own action. It makes friends or enemies and works cooperatively or controversially in response to its internal evaluation of the external political situation. State as free agent. The state is theoretically a free agent and endeavors to attain as close an approximation to this freedom as possible. Non-identification of the political unit with the larger community and the greater operational freedom from restraint enjoyed by the state marks the difference of international politics from other types of social action. State as controller of its international role. The state fully controls its own international role and is thus arbiter of its own moral code. All that fulfills its national interest and aspirations is good and moral. Failure to achieve national ends is considered as bad and immoral and thus reprehensible. State as determinant of world politics. The general atmosphere of world politics is neither a cosmic force nor an accident of history, but stems from the prevailing patterns of assumptions and actions accepted by the dominant states of the system. Any basic change in the system will find its initial expression in modifications in the way states conceive of their international roles. State as divergent entities. One state is different from others on various grounds, such as territory, population, economic development, government, power, nationalism, etc. On the basis of territory and population, states are big, moderate, and small. From the viewpoint of economic and industrial development, there are three types of states: developed, developing, and underdeveloped. On the basis of government, states are democratic, dictatorial, monarchical, totalitarian, and republican, presidential, parliamentary, and so on. Modern states are also classified on the basis of power as superpowers, great powers, middle powers, and small powers. States may be different for following different types of nationalism, such as liberal nationalism, aggressive nationalism, totalitarian nationalism, and integral nationalism. Ethnically, nation-states can be either homogeneous or heterogeneous. Most nation-states fall into the latter category. Heterogeneous nation-states consist of various ethnic groups that possess either an actualized or an incipient sense of nationhood. Frankel developed 4 basic dimensions in the analysis of states which are equally applicable to other actors. These are participation. Orientation towards participation in the international system varies from state to state. There can be the extremes of full participation in the international affairs, characterizing the United States, and the relative isolationism of contemporary Burma or Nepal. A similar spectrum could be developed for multinational corporations or terrorist groups. Scope. It can be understood as a geographical dimension, with actors dividing into those with mainly global, regional, sub-regional, and more local scope, and functional, according to the fields of international interaction in which they participate. While non-state actors usually have a limited functional scope, states have potentially comprehensive multifunctional scope. However, certain individual states do not prefer to exercise it. Power. Power is defined both in functional and in relative terms, specifying what the power intends achieving and in relations with whom. In international politics, power is both an end as well as a means for the states. Domestic structure. Domestic structure of nation-state is very pertinent for international interaction. The most relevant part of domestic structure is the decision-making institutions. Other significant elements of domestic structure are stability and capacity to adaptation to change, legitimacy exhibiting itself as loyalty of citizens at home and of friends and allies abroad, etc.